Hey everyone, welcome. I'm Rebecca Pickens. I'm a certified book coach and developmental editor, and I'm also host of Self-Editing Essentials, a group coaching program for writers who have finished or almost finished writing their books and are ready to start working on the art of editing. So every week, I answer questions that come to me from members of my groups, clients that I coach one-on-one, and for subscribers to my newsletter. If you have a question for me, I would love if you would put it in the comments here, and I will do my best to answer it. This week, my question comes from a member of my group coaching program, and it's a question about finding your book's title. This is a really good question because this is a very difficult thing to do. If you've ever tried to name a book, an article, a blog post, it takes some doing. You want to get it just right. So let's dig in today to how to find the right title for your project. I've got some tips for you that I think you'll find helpful. So the first thing is don't aim for perfection right away. What you really want to do is leave yourself open to changing, to finding your title later on in the process, but for giving yourself that holding spot. So don't aim for perfection. Start simply by generating a long list of messy possibilities. I really I get this question a lot. Should I pick my title right away or should I wait for it to come to me? Choosing a working title at the outset is something I often suggest because it really gives you that guiding star. It keeps the theme of your story and the tone of your story on the top of your mind as you go ahead and you draft your book and you revise your book. And I've seen this many times for the writers that I work with and also for my own self. When we have a title in place, at least tentatively in place, it can really help spark new scenes and help us think about motifs that we might not have considered otherwise. Letting your title emerge later on, though, is fine. By all means, don't let these exercises slow you down and stop you from writing your book. Sometimes the heart of your story, especially if you're a pantser type, is going to reveal itself more slowly, and it's going to come to you by through revision, character discoveries. And if you choose your title too soon, you may feel constrained by that. The most important thing to do is decide what works for you and do it. But no matter which process you use, whether you decide to come up with your title at the very beginning, or if you decide to work your way forward and see what title emerges, either way, don't get stuck there. Things change. Your title is a dynamic work in progress, just like your entire manuscript is. So it's helpful to define your title's function before you give it too much thought. Before brainstorming a list of titles, you want to ask yourself, what exactly do I want my title to do? And it can do a lot of different things. It can serve a lot of different purposes. Do you want it to capture the emotional core of your story? Do you want to hint at the genre or the tone or the setting of your story? Are you raising questions, helping people tune into what they should be curious about as they read your story? Or are you going to use your title to signal a theme or a key idea that your book delves into? I would recommend looking at your bookshelf. It's a great resource, or go to the bookstore and see what catches your eye. What titles stick out to you? And then ask yourself, what is the function of that title? Your title may already exist. This is really good news for you if you struggle with writing titles. They often already exist in the sense that they are hidden in your work already. So try these prompts to see if your title is already there waiting for you. Highlight vivid images, metaphors, or motifs that appear in your book. Is there an object, a place, or an action that repeats itself enough times that it could be a very compelling, relevant title for your story? Find a particular phrase that has lots of energy or rhythm in your prose, something that a character says, it may be a chapter title or a striking sentence that you think would really resonate with your reader. Circle your themes. Is it a story about loss or joy or escape and transformation? What is a single image or phrase from your story or from your head that really hints at what the theme of your story is. It's also really helpful to brainstorm from different perspectives, right? So we've got these different elements that you might look at in your story to come up with some good ideas for your long list of titles. A symbol or an object. So, for example, in the novels The Goldfinch, The Bell Jar, and The Paper Palace, we have objects that become very important to addressing the story's themes, and they make perfect titles. Place. If setting is a very important part of your story, consider using it in your title. Brooklyn, Shutter Island, Where the Crawdads Sing are just a couple examples that come to mind. Next thing we might consider, if you're writing a character-driven story and the voice is really compelling and a key part of the telling of your story, you may decide simply to use that character's name in your title. Rebecca, Olive Kitteridge, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. These are three women from three novels that we remember because they are just super dynamic characters and they made great titles. If you have a concept or a theme, we talked a little bit about this already, you may want to use that as your title. It's a great way to give your readers a sense of what's coming. So, belonging, becoming, the silent patient, these are all titles that dig into the themes of the story. You may want to try for something more poetic, a little bit more abstract that piques the reader's curiosity. Oh, what could this be about? It's not necessarily clear from the beginning, but there's a lyricism or something that's just unique about the title that really makes it pop out and makes the reader want to find out what the heck is this book about? A Man Called Ove is a great title. Tiny Beautiful Things, A Little Life. We don't know from looking at these titles what these books will be about, but we are curious. Conflict or question, who will help, who will run the frog hospital, what we lose. These are these titles imply conflict and imply that something is going to happen. These questions need to be answered, and this title is just tuning us into that. And then finally, if you're writing a cozy mystery, this is often a recommendation I have is wordplay or twist. We see this a lot in that genre, and that can be so much fun to play with too. So these are just some places to start. And if you are at the very beginning stages of figuring out possibilities for your title and you're going to do a very long list, try playing with all of these different elements and see what fits the genre of your story best. Workshop your favorites. Say them out loud. What do you hear when you hear that title? Does it make you curious? Does it make you interested? Would you pull it off your bookshelf? What does the title make you feel? And really think about that. Do you feel curious? Do you feel sad? Do you feel um, like you just can't imagine what this book is about and you've got to find out? Or do you feel like it hits the nail on the head? This is exactly the thing or the place or the idea that you have been meaning to read about. Then Google your title. Is it out there already? Now, it is okay if it's out there already. There is no rule that you too can't use that title. Um, However, obviously, if that book has been a bestseller, you're not going to want to use that title. You don't want to be the accidental Google. Somebody finds your book, but really they were looking for this bestseller that they just heard about on television or something. So and likewise, if a title repeats itself, often if many people have used that title to avoid confusion, I would definitely recommend using something else. Think about whether you would pick it up in a bookstore. We've already talked about that. Or would you feel confident pitching this title to an agent? How would you feel sharing this and talking about it? Is it something you feel proud of? What might the title look like if you were to design the cover art? Does it lend itself well to the illustrations that you might choose or the layout you'll be considering for your book? And finally, Workshop your title list with others. This is really important. Ask your beta reader, what does this title make you feel? What do you think this book is about? Does it make you curious? Would you pick this up off a bookshelf? You will get so much information sharing this title with others. That objective point of view is really helpful because you know what your book is about. So when it comes to coming up with a title, you're lacking some of the objectivity that a beta reader might have. So really dig into that with them. If you are going to publish your book traditionally, if that's your plan, and you're going to get a literary agent and all of these things, having a title is helpful for your own productivity. Like we said at the beginning of this video, having a title in place, it makes your book feel real and it makes you know what your goal is and it gives you something to write toward. However, be prepared that your agent or your publisher may decide this isn't quite the right title. There are people who are paid a lot of money to come up with titles that are going to sell and that are going to get your book into the hands of the right readers. So there's a certain amount of flexibility there to be open to. If you are self-publishing, really nailing your title, knowing exactly who your ideal reader is and what they're looking for in a title is very important because that's the title that's going to stick, and that's the title you're going to need to design a compelling cover for. So the stakes are a little bit higher when you're self-publishing, but you have so much power, so much control with a good title to get that story into the hands of the right person. So it's a very exciting and very important part of your process. I hope this was helpful for you. If you are working on titles right now and you have questions or you have great tips, please stick them in the comments section. I would love to hear them. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe to my channel. I will be dropping new videos every week about all things related to writing, publishing, editing, everything. So please keep in touch. And for more information about the services that I support for writers, you can see in the comments section a link to my newsletter and to some other programming. Thanks so much. Happy writing.